Hello and welcome to my channel. So the holidays are coming up and I want to do a mini series of a couple gift ideas that you can give to an artist. This can be from an artist to another artist or from a non-artist to an artist. And this one is going to be a bunch of budget-friendly ideas. Now this can be different things from a little less expensive things as well as some thrifting. So to start this video off, we're going to go to my local Goodwill and have a look around. Alright, so we're going to start at the glassware, and glassware is great just for having some type of water dish, or you can use it to hold brushes like this one I thought was really fun with all the fish floating around. This is really cute, but you might want be tempted to drink it like it was tea. If someone really loves mason jars, you can have a mason jar one, or if they want it to look like sort of like a fish bowl. And personally, my favorite, I ended up picking this one up. Now you can also do different mugs, and mugs are great definitely for holding brushes, but as well you can use them to rinse your brushes often. Mugs are great options for holding brushes, as well as you can find things that have favorite items on it, like I found one with a rabbit, or there's also inspirational sayings. Plates make for awesome palettes, but there are some things to consider. There are glass, ceramic, sometimes plastic, and occasionally metal ones. You have to consider what they're going to be used for. Things like ceramic are awesome for watercolors, but you might have a hard time with certain acrylics getting them off. Also, sometimes they come in big sets, which makes it very difficult to just buy one to give someone. Glass ones have sometimes funny designs like this fish, but then they can also have other patterns as well. You just have to look around. Plain plate is a really good idea, but you have to see if you have to buy all of them again. So sometimes very random pieces like these two glass plates are awesome because you're not going to have to worry about them being in a set. Definitely with watercolors, they'll work really well. They're very unique, as well as you can easily put something underneath them so you can see what you're mixing. Now you can go for something a little bit more goofier, have a pattern of the stars, and those stars are raised, so you might be able to use them to keep the water separated, or to really keep it separated, you might find a glass with 3 different areas. There are drying racks, which can be really useful for keeping things separated and drying your brushes. Just remember to dry them flat or with the bristles down so water doesn't get into the glue. Pen holders also work as brush holders, but in the office section you might find something like this that's supposed to hold it folders, but you can also use it to hold sketchbooks or sometimes different pads of paper, just so you have something to keep your area organized. Now, another thing that's a little bit unique idea is I found this Rolodex. I think it's Rolodex. And what you can do is you can basically make up a bunch of different swatch ideas of different color palettes and just have them organized on this instead of having different papers or trying to figure it out. On occasion, you can find real art supplies, and that's always a safe bet. Frames can be a great option if you have an artist that loves making things but has never hung anything up, and it would be a good way to encourage them to do that. And randomly in this area, I found something you could use to organize art supplies. This thing is great. It's like what I use to hold all of my watercolor paper that is still in pad form that I have not used yet. This fun thing is normally for Scotch tape, but you can convert it and use it for washi tape. And another fun thing is sort of like a stim toy that you can have on your desk. I mentioned getting a drying rack. This is my drying rack. I ended up putting something on top of it to make sure small things didn't fall through, but it's really convenient because I can just have it sitting next to the desk, and when I'm ready to use it and it was drying, I can just grab it. Another thing that you can get is something like this. This was a towel, and when I looked at the towel, it really didn't look like it had a lot of life left in it. So I ended up taking it home, cutting it up, And now this is my brush drying towel, as well as I sometimes use it to clean up my art desk. And if you want to make it look nice, just because this looks horrible to give as a gift, what you can do is, I would suggest cutting it, trimming off all of the stuff that'll become frayed when you wash it. And then what you can do is you can take a little bit of ribbon, fold it over, and sew it to the sides. In all honesty, there's a positive and a negative to that. It's positive because it makes it look really nice for a gift, but the negative is that ribbon is going to become dyed. So if you have someone who's going to be bothered by the ribbon that looked really nice being dyed, I would suggest just going for making the nice edges as nice as possible. One of my favorite thrifted things is actually this. It is just a giant button-up shirt. I went into the men's section and went through all of the button-up shirts. It is huge, so I can put it on top of a sweater as well. And in all honesty, for me, I ended up having to make the cuffs a little bit smaller by adding a button. So this was the button that came with the shirt. I added another one. Actually, I took one of them off and restitched it. But it was a great way to have a painting shirt, and I didn't feel bad by getting a brand new shirt. So that's a really awesome gift if you want to give it to someone, especially when they're working. I mean, in all honesty, even with certain watercolors that I know are going to wash out, I still like having this. I also wanted to share some of my water dishes. So this is the one that I just picked up when I was recording all of that video. And if you're worried that this is something expensive that I'm using for art, in all honesty, I ended up looking it up with an image search, and they are very, very common. I mean, they're like $8. So honestly, I think it's really awesome. It's going to be something really fun, and the best thing, it has a handle. This is much improvement over what I call my fishbowl. So I've been using this round dish for holding my water, and it is fantastic. But in all honesty, it's sort of nerve-wracking trying to carry it, like trying to get a grip when it's wet, especially when I'm trying to bring it to dry it off. Now, I wanted to also show off my favorite mixing palette that I got from Goodwill. It was about a year ago now. Absolutely love it. And the best thing is this white in the middle of it that makes it really easy for mixing watercolors on, and it is fantastic. It's pretty flat with just some raised edges. I absolutely love it. Now this one I actually found at a garage sale when I was walking the dog. Yeah, that sounds really crazy. Walking the dog the morning of neighborhood garage sales, and I got this and a bunch of washi tape, and I do not even remember what else. But a fun idea that you can do with this is you can take this dish, and if you're a watercolor artist, you're going to have tubes of paint. So if you want to gift it to someone else, what you can do is take some of your tubes of paint, create a little palette for someone, and just do a couple dots so that they can try it out. It's a good way to share art with someone who might be newer to art, and you can share some of your paint. And when you're doing tube and just a little dot, you're not going to be doing a huge amount, so you're not going to use up your supplies. And for things that have high edges, this is one that I have. It looks like it's supposed to be a dip tray, but in all honesty, I would never use this for a dip tray. Not a lot of space for dip, and it's super small. So for me, I basically like using this for stuff that is a lot more watery and I want to have more concentrated so I can see the color better. It's very, very specific, and I don't use it that often. For this fun tape dispenser, the one thing that was frustrating, it was missing this middle part. If you get brushes that have these little tubes on it, you might have what you need to fix it. I honestly keep these things just because I don't know if I'm going to need to use them for something else. And honestly, one of them perfectly fits. And because of that, this isn't the tape I am going to have in here, but it'll work for a demonstration. Maybe. Clumsy fingers. I have clumsy fingers. Okay, there we go. See? Now I have it nice and secured, and honestly, it didn't take any extra money to think and make something. The last idea is probably one of the cheapest, and that is Silica gel packets. It sounds really weird, but it's really beneficial for trying to keep the humidity out of your art supplies, and I wouldn't give them just like this. I would put them in a nice bag like this and just sort of seal them up, and there you go. It's really convenient to have these, especially if you're an artist that you're gifting to loves watercolors, because it's really important that between using the watercolors you have them dried out so that they don't get moldy or anything. I mean, I even have a teeny tiny one that I keep in this palette just to make sure that these handmade watercolors don't have any moisture in them when I'm storing them. So that's really important so that you don't have moldy art supplies. So it may seem like a weird idea, but in all honesty, if someone gave me a bag of these to keep in my art supplies drawers, I would be very happy, because a lot of my art supplies really need to be kept dry when not in use. If you're not wanting to completely thrift it and you'd rather buy something, I do suggest something like this. This is just a really pretty tin that I can hold different watercolor paints. I have about 4 of them. This is all of my name brand store-bought paints, and it comes with magnets as well as some pans. I went for the half pans, and that's just great for someone who likes to use a lot of tube paint, or if they just have other paint that they've bought in pans that they want to store it. And then another idea is honestly a gift card. It might not seem like a lot, but if you do like a $10, $5 gift card, you're basically paying for shipping, and if someone gets free shipping in their orders all the time, you're giving them a little bit of a discount that might make the difference between they can get like an extra supply that they might not have the budget for. So even if you're leaning towards that, it's a good way to give a gift and not spend a lot. So those are all of my more thrifting, low budget ideas that you can give an artist. I am going to come out with a couple other videos. I'm still trying to figure out how many is going to be in the series, but I will be getting those out within the next week and a half. I'm trying to get them done before December 1st. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you next time. Have a bat-tastic day. Bye.